I can finally say what I want because I have no script to adhere to. Welcome to the How Not to Summon a Demon Lord Season 1 review. If you thought I was going to do a proper intro to this, then you're fucking crazy. I'm just kidding. You're not crazy. Like, I just got a little excited because it's my first review. Welcome to the first review. Look at the things. I did the things. I just want your approval. Okay, so I've been thinking, how do I want to do review videos? Because there's a lot of review videos out there, so it's like, what makes mine special? Could come up with some generic rating system. Music, 3. Why? Not enough violin. And you guys are like, whoa. I didn't even think about the lack of a violin. This guy really knows what he's talking about. Could just make jokes all the time. Everybody knows that Zoomers have their TikToks and shit. Nobody has time to sit down and listen to something, so they have to have jokes and constant like fucking dopamine. Fucking dopamine. More dopamine. Give me more dopamine. And then if you don't do that, they get bored. They're like, oh my god, this is so boring. What do we do? Everybody has ADHD nowadays. It's like, fuck, just relax, just watch the video. So now I have to talk really fucking fast, and then I have to slow down randomly to enunciate. And that way people think like, wow, this is really thought-provoking, while simultaneously not providing any useful information in any way at all. I could target shows for incredibly obvious reasons. Hey, thanks for making the entire show good, and then just fucking ruining it at the end. I was really hoping that I could just waste as much time as physically fucking possible before you ruined it. Let's make sure their interest is peaking. Wait for it. Ruin it! Ruin the show! Ruin it! Go! Because now I can build a rapport with you, and you're like, oh my god, I think that too. GOT was a shitty ending. Yes, it was. But don't think that I'm original for thinking that. You know why? Because everybody fucking thinks that. That ending was garbage. So I thought about it for a long time and I was like, what do I want to do for that video? How do I want to make it? And I just thought, yes, I'm just going to do all that shit and then see what happens. The great thing about not having a very successful channel is that nobody gives a fuck if you fail. If I just shoot and fail, then there's like 3 people who are disappointed. Who cares? Look, you guys probably watch more anime than me and you read more manga than me. So the question becomes, why would you listen to me? I don't fucking know. Maybe you'll find it enlightening to your life in some way. Maybe you'll get out of depression finally. Maybe you'll get a girlfriend. Want a girlfriend? I mean, if you meet her and then she's like, I watch that guy, and then you're like, I watch that guy too. Babies. All I'm trying to say is that I don't know what I'm talking about. None of us know what we're talking about. All we do is form opinions, and then we spew those opinions on everybody else's existence. And then sometimes it'll stick. People watch it, and I might make money. If you are looking to get immersed in a dense world with ever-changing plot twists and characters that are relatable with everything you could ever imagine, great soundtracks, you're in the wrong fucking place. But if you like titty filler content, bath scenes, incest rape, major orgasms, minor orgasms, and minor orgasms, why did he say that twice? You'll fucking find out. How Not to Summon a Demon Lord is just one of those anime where if you try to pay attention and take it seriously, you're gonna lose brain cells. But if you just turn off every nook and cranny of your brain, then you'll have a good time. And it helps to be sexually frustrated too, but that's aside the point. It's not really that far aside the point. It's kind of the main point you would watch it. Why do you need to be sexually frustrated to enjoy the show? I'm glad you asked your child. Come sit down and let's talk about it. It's because it's just sprinkled with lovely, pretty, tight fan service to distract you from your problems and the one-dimensional plot. The plot had potential, I guess. It revolves around an OP character, gets transported to another world, inadvertently gets 2 slaves because they're stupid as fuck. I don't know, it's like, you could make it fun. You could make it fun, I guess. This guy's a shut-in from our world, so then he gets there and he's like, oh man, what a drag, 2 new slaves. Let's really work together to break the enslavement. I wouldn't. I'd be like, unlucky, come on, you're mine now, let's go. And of course, this branches into a bunch of different side quests. Let's be honest, this is not why we watch this show. We all know why. You might say, I just want to watch all the shows I can. I want to study the art of the anime so I can improve my own work. I seek spiritual enlightenment from the anime. But we all know that it's because of the tits. There are huge tits, small tits, cat ear orgasms, noob shots, just disappointing enough to not be classified as hentai. Speaking of hentai, why not just watch hentai? You know damn well why. Because people might think you're weird. What happens when your roommate comes in, or your mom or dad or wherever you are in life, and they see all this lube and tentacles flying everywhere? You can't explain that shit. But if they come in on this show, then you could just be like, no, you're misunderstanding. They're enslaved Hello? And then they have to go and break the enslavement, obviously. You're probably still naked and rock hard, but at least it sounds better. The thing with the show is that if you watch it sexually repressed, then you'll be like, oh yeah, interrogate that cat girl harder, make her talk. But then once you come, you'll be like, well, this seems invasive. You could just build mutual respect and trust between one another and get the information that way also. Moral of the story, watch the show Horny. And if you can't do that, then just pick a different isekai, like one with a blue-haired maid or something, but don't make any videos on that anime, because Kadokawa Corp is fucking crazy. All of that being said, I would give How Not to Summon a Demon Lord an astonishing forgettable out of 10. And I would tell you why, but I don't fucking remember. That's the general overview if you want to watch it or not. So now I'm going to start going into more details. So warning, spoilers ahead. Don't want to spoil the show, the dense plot. Spoiler number 1. Rem is 14. Huh. You bring this up in every video you've done on this show. Yeah, you want to know why? She's fucking 14. How's that not going to be a massive point of interest in the video? Fuck the plot. Let's talk about all the crazy shit that happens with Rem. Oh, I have a secret. Diablo's like, I'll get this secret out of her. Hold my beer. And then he goes in, pins her down, and then starts like fucking caressing her ear. He's like, you like that? Tell me, tell me. And she has some sort of erotic response from it, like, oh no, my ear's being touched. I'll tell you anything. And it was like, what happened? Who came up with the ear meta to where, like, if you rub an ear, all of a sudden it's orgasmic? And then if you take a normal cat, you rub their ear. I mean, sure, they like it. Wait, they do like it. I have a cat. I pet his ear all the time. It's a guy. Let's just back burner that for now, and we'll just focus on Rem's explosive orgasm at 14, and then the writers are all sitting around like, how else were we supposed to get her to tell him? And then all the horny nerds in the dark, like, pausing to, like, finish are just like, yeah, exactly. And then all the well-adjusted nerds who have already come are just sitting there like, she's 14 though, right? And since we're here, I mean, we might as well go down the path. You know what path I'm talking about? The summoning ritual. Let's fucking talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about the summoning ritual. This scene is where the show peaked. And it was so necessary because it brought everything together. For this storyline, the plot, you guys, the plot. You see the pattern though? They take this messed up scene and they sprinkle in just enough plot to be like, well, it's justifiable now. How else is he gonna summon the Demon Lord? All the horny nerds are like, yeah, summon that Demon Lord. You know you gotta summon it, right? And then all the well-adjusted nerds are like closing the browser like, what in the fuck? And then they reopen in like private browsers and stuff. Look, some people really like these shows, and that's okay. I think that it just comes down to a lack of meaningful content. Instead of making some complex story, you just have to be like, no, he's summoning a demon lord so that he can defeat it. At face value, one-dimensional. But if you make it so that he has to finger a girl so that he can summon it, then it's like original technically, but it's not really original in a meaningful way. It's just like nobody's ever done that because it's like, who the fuck would do that? This just seems like a common theme. Shira wants to avoid an arranged marriage. Never heard that before. But no, it's different because it's her incestuous brother that tries to rape her. Yeah, sure, I don't know any shows based around that nuance, but if you take the core concept, it's still generic. It's just an arranged marriage. Granted, it is really hard to make an original concept these days, bordering impossible, so turning to kinks and fan service is an easy way out. There's obviously nothing wrong with that, but when it comes to rating the plot, I'd have to give it a whopping generic with fetishized nuance to tie loose ends out of 10. Now let's just look at the characters. Diablo is just one of those characters that does things because the writers think it's funny, not really because a person in his situation would ever actually consider doing these things. For example, he was a shut-in during his past life, which is fine, but then when he goes to the new world, he can't interact with anybody in a healthy way, so he has to interact the way a demon lord would. So he gives off this menacing vibe, which just seems like such a hyperbolized solution to finding a way to interact with people. But they did it because the writers thought it would be funny. In my line of work, I have talked to a lot of degenerates and a lot of people with social anxiety and problems with interacting with people, and nobody would try this. Why? Because it doesn't fucking make any sense. This makes it really hard to relate to him, and this construct was introduced so early that it ruined my immersion instantly. As far as the side characters go, sure, they have cute mannerisms, all that stuff, but really, it just feels like they're there to get groped. Throughout the entire season, everybody that was incorporated into the show was either saved, groped, or defeated by Diablo. The only one to do anything was Bitchburger when he saved Shira. Everybody else, fucking useless. Basically just decorations to harness the male sex drive to farm views. The only noticeable character progression is maybe Rem deciding to like get along with Crepskullum, but aside from that, what, we got Shira forgiving her brother? That doesn't fucking matter. He died immediately after, so it's like nobody's progressing anywhere. It's completely possible that my expectations for anime are just too high these days. There can only be so much character progression with side characters in a 12 episode series, but maybe if you took some of the time that you put into animating the boob physics or trying to make these crazy fingering scenes like legal and justifiable, and you just took a little bit of it and put it into the character and character progression, then I wouldn't have to give it a who fucking cares because the rating system never mattered anyways out of 2.5. There's obviously a market for these kinds of anime, so I'm not gonna say don't watch it. All things considered, if you just shut off your brain, it's not that bad. It's a decent filler series between watching mainstream shows. Are the FBI gonna be watching you? Of course, she's fucking 14. But just, you're lonely anyways. Just pretend that they're close friends who really care about your opinions and thoughts and actions and your pending threat on society. But aside from that, it's not weird. I'm going to be doing the next season, and you can find that on the left side whenever I'm finished with it, or you can check out all the reviews and recaps for How Not to Summon a Demon Lord in the playlist on the right side. You can also find the links in the description below, and the only thing I hate more than intros is outros.